to Heart Treasure. In this, the 10th episode in our series, Building Biblical Friendships. And today, I'm going to give you 10 tips on making good friendships. Jim Rohn tells us that we are the average of the 5 persons that we spend the most time with. Give a moment to think about it. The 5 persons you spend the most time with. In Proverbs 13 verse 20, scripture tells us that the wise seek out the company of wise, and he who seeks out the company of the wise grows wise, but the companion of fools suffers harm. Proverbs 1 Corinthians 15 verse 33 tells us that bad company corrupts good character. So the people around us really determine who we are. And so I think building good friendships is one of the most important disciplines of our lives. Let's jump in. Just be open. When you first start out in friendships, just be open to the possibility of a good friendship happening. Expect to get friends and be open to that new friendship. But even when you have already started developing friendships, be open about who you are. You know, you as a person are a precious gift, and you have to be open to generously share who you are with other people. And to do this, you need to ask questions. You need to get to go and get to know people. You need to take the risk of being vulnerable in relationships. So to start off, just be open, because you see, people with lasting friendships could be anybody. It could be an introvert and an extrovert. It could be a tall person or a short person. It could be a very young person with a very old person. It can be a very dull person with a very extravagant person. But one thing all of these people who have deep and meaningful conversations will have is the fact that they are open to friendship in the first place. Number 2, be intentional. When you first start out in building friendships, you need to be intentional about seeking out. You need to be willing to take the initiative, make the first call, make the first plans to get together. You need to be intentional about going out where there are people. You can't expect the people to find you. You've got to go out where the people are. And you have to develop new interests and get involved in stuff and get involved in people's lives. That would be about what is being intentional in the beginning. But if you've been a friend for a while, we often neglect this being intentional. And this is where I want to remind you to be intentional in making sure that you give time and energy to invest in your friendships. Be intentional about making an appointment and keeping contact. Making sure that you pitch up when you said you would pitch up. Making sure that you listen. And I mean really listen. Being intentional about listening. Practicing intentional conversation where you are interested in what is being said behind the words that are being said, and that you're not just an interesting person, but you are interested in what's going on in their lives. Make sure you share and reveal yourself. You should reveal where you're going and what's happening in your life, and be positive. Nobody likes to be around a negative person or a person whose life is always half full and nothing good is happening in your life. Be intentional about being positive, being the best person that you can be in the relationship. Number 3 is actually so obvious that you'd think you wouldn't have to say it. But number 3 is be yourself. Honestly, true to who you are. And here, I think it is important not to say that you are interested in things when you're not actually interested, or to pretend that you are someone that you're not really. What is really important here is that you yourself know what your own likes and dislikes are. Being part of this honesty is not wearing any mask. Don't pretend to be further down a journey than what you actually are. Do your work on yourself that is necessary. You develop as a person and let them develop as a person. Honestly, be where they are as they're progressing and struggling with stuff. It's talking about being honest with each other as you journey in life together. And part of this being yourself is also just remembering to take the friendship slow. You got to reveal yourself slowly. You can't just like hang it all out there and think that they'll just accept you as you are. So being honest is also being honest about progressing through your friendship and where your friendship is, and understanding that not everybody is as quick to reveal themselves, because all of us at our core fear rejection. Part of this is honestly accepting other people and not expecting them to change. Acceptance means I love you, but I don't require you to change right now. I love you just the way you are. This doesn't mean that we don't want people to change, but it doesn't mean that our love is not conditional on them changing. But that is what we're doing when we are honestly accepting each other. And feedback is important, and people want feedback, but we don't just give feedback just like that. We give it when it's asked for. Number 4, pray. In the beginning, ask the Lord to give you friendships. Pray about the friendships that you're going to develop. But once you have those friendships, ask the Lord to deepen those friendships. Cover your friend in prayer. Pray for them about the different matters in their life, and try and make it part of your relationship that you regularly pray for each other. Develop your friendship spiritually, not just emotionally, mentally, or physically. Just make sure that you're always developing yourself. In fact, scripture is very clear that we should pray for one another. In Colossians 3, it tells us to pray for each other, and in 2 Timothy, or at least 1 Timothy 2, it tells us that all kinds of prayers should be made for everyone. Prayers, intercessions, supplications should be made for everyone. So there is no harm in praying about our friendships, because it adds a spiritual dimension to our relationships. Number 5, be patient. Friendships take time to grow. And here you need to remember that friendships take seasons where they just stay the same, and then suddenly they go into a season where you're suddenly a lot deeper and a lot closer, and then after a little time you kind of like venture apart. Friendships take time as people change and as our journeys that we're going through change. And so we need to be patient in terms of how we develop a friendship and what we are going through. And so we also need to be open to those changes and what's going on in people's lives. And so what we look for is we look for enduring commonalities. That means things that will last between us, that goes beyond time. And one example is faith. Being able to build a friendship with somebody in which your faith is something that lasts between the two of you and always keeps that in common between the two of you actually is what eventually strengthens the relationship in the end. And as you're patiently investing in that relationship, there are 4 qualities that you want to kind of build up in the relationship over time. First of all, you guys must build similar values, that you have similar value systems in which you're working and building up into your life. Build common interests. I mean, you two must enjoy something that you love doing together. And if you haven't got something that you love doing together now, find something that the two of you do together. And you have to look at building likability between the two of you, that you actually just enjoy each other's company. And then finally, consistency over time. Be consistent in how you build into the relationship, and don't make it a I feel like it now, I don't feel like it later kind of attitude to the friendship. Be patient in how you build it up. But most of all, what is needed in friendship is good quality time, and time that you guys spend together just talking and getting to know what's happening in each other's lives. Also memories, building memories together, that comes with time. So be patient as your relationship develops, that you give that time for memories. And then traditions, like I have a friend that we always go to a coffee shop. That's our tradition. Or when it's their birthday, I take them out for lunch. That is a tradition in your friendship. And those are the things that come over time and build into the quality and depth of the relationship. And just by the way, as you're being patient in the journey of your friendship, men bond with other men by doing things together, whereas women bond with women by sharing emotional content together. These things require us to spend time together. Number 6, be trustworthy. Look and see and seek out what is best for one another, not what you can get out of the relationship. So, firstly, keep confidences. Nobody likes a gossip. Don't talk about your friend to other people. And really, girls, if you can talk to other people about your other friends, why would I entrust my relationship to you? Being trustworthy is also about keeping your promises. If you said you're going to be there, then be there. If you said you're going to do something, then do that something. Also, being a friend and being a trustworthy friend is about being loyal. Proverbs says, there is a friend that sticks closer than a brother. Yes, be the loyal friend that when the chips are down, you're the one that is still there with them. Being a trustworthy friend is also about I can rely on you to speak the truth to me in love. And do that, speak the truth in love, but do it in a respectful way, saying that I will listen to you with no interruptions. As you're speaking to them, you are focusing on their strengths and not their weaknesses, focusing on building them up rather than breaking them down. That is what a trustworthy friend does. And you know what? Part of being trustworthy is respecting the boundaries. If your friend says that she doesn't like phone calls on a Sunday, well then don't phone her on a Sunday. Respect the boundaries. Number 7, be loving. As I've already told you before, we as a people struggle to tell each other how we feel about them. And as we've discussed in a previous episode, make the point of telling your friends what they mean to you. Be a safe place that they can run to. Maintain contact so that if they need to talk to someone, you are always available. Be that person that forgives quickly and doesn't remember all the past mistakes or errors, but moves to develop a clean slate between the two of you. Make sure that you remember things like birthdays, anniversaries, important events in their lives. And then of course there's the wonderful, wonderful way of demonstrating love in gift giving, which is a personal favorite of mine because I know that a gift says, I was thinking of you and I love you. Number 8, be a servant. Now this is quite a difficult concept to understand because a servant is really just serving the needs of another person. And very often you think, well, but isn't this also about me and the friendship? Be careful that you don't only pursue friendship for what you can get out of it, but make sure that you serve your friend as well for nothing that you can get out of it, just because you love them and care for them. Remember that the world does not revolve around you and what you're about and your agenda and what you're up to. But make sure that for your friend, you are serving them and encouraging them and asking the question, how can I make your life better? Number 9, celebrate and support your friends. Celebrate the good times, have fun together. Support in the bad times, stick around, be there for them. In the good times, have fun. Laughter is good medicine. Enjoy your times together. Don't always make them heavy and difficult, but make sure that you stay a fun person and are supportive in the fun times as well as in the bad times. Make sure that you don't excessively tease your friend at the expense of herself and her character and her identity. And make sure that you two together don't tease other people at their expense. During the bad times, stir up faith and hope in your friends. The most dangerous thing that any one of us can have is a friend who, during tough times and difficult times, causes us to rely on someone or something that is not Jesus. A good friend is someone that encourages us to rely on Jesus, who reminds us of the goodness of the Lord in our life before and encourages us to build up our faith and stay strong. Part of celebrating and supporting our friends is about building up their lives, building up their personal image, about how they see themselves and what they can possibly do, celebrating their successes with them, and most important, building up their marriages and building up their families. Because as our friends' marriages and families are strengthened, so our friendship is strengthened as well. Make a point of reminding them that there is an eternal purpose to their life as well. That it's not just about living here on this planet, here and now, but that you and them are destined for an eternity beyond this place. Number 10, keep Jesus first in your life and keep Jesus first in your friendships. Giving Jesus that priority in your friendships means that it will translate in all your relationships. So remember, in a good friend, you can enjoy the joy that you receive from the Lord. So delight in being able to tell each other what God has done in your lives. A good friendship will expose sin in your life. So a friend is more likely to see your blind spots than what anybody else is. And they're more likely to show you what's going on in your life and what you need to change. A friend is also someone that will encourage you to obey God. So when all the world tells you to do something else, Your friend may be the one that says to you, be obedient to what God has told you to do anyway. When we are weak, a friend that puts Jesus first will encourage us to rely on Him for our strength. And when we are weak, they will be the ones that say, come on, try again, try a little harder, trust in the Lord for the strength that you need. And then finally, we need friends that help us glorify God in our lives. So having friendships in which Jesus is first strengthens your life in general and not just for a moment. I hope that you've enjoyed these 10 tips for strengthening your friendships. I hope that you would give them some further consideration as to how to apply them in your life. That brings to conclusion our series on building biblical friendships. If you've missed our previous chapters, please be free to check our YouTube channel to find them or have a look on www.hearttreasure.net. So with that, be sure to like and subscribe to this channel because there are sure to be more episodes that are relevant to your life. Hope to see you again soon. Cheers.